Yo guys, what's going on? Buds here, back at you another video. Sorry I've been gone for a long time. But anyways, I'm back. No BS coming out of my mouth, just been lazy. But today we're going to talk about, I guess not talk, let me backtrack a little bit. Today we're starting off a new series called Tech Card Tuesday, where I'll be talking about cards that you may be thinking about playing in your deck, but maybe not playing, that are worth considering playing whenever you're about to go into a tournament. Today we are going to be talking about the card Pokemon Ranger. Now this card came out in Steam Siege. It is a supporter, and its text reads: remove all effects of attacks on each player and his or her Pokemon. So what this means is that if your opponent, uses an attack that affects you as a player, or affects yours or their Pokemon, it removes that effect. So let's go over some of the Pokemon effects that you might be wanting to negate. So to start, let's start off with expanded. Probably the biggest one would be Volcanion. Volcanion, you can, if you play Ranger, you can use Volcanic Heat again, because Volcanic Heat says this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. So while the Pokemon Ranger might not be the most effective way of getting around this condition, it does remove the condition. So if you use Volcanic Heat on your turn, your opponent takes their turn, your Volcanion is still in the active, you can play Ranger, allowing you to use Volcanic Heat again. Another example in its standard is Lapras GX, with the Blizzard Burn attack, saying that it can't use this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. Pokemon Ranger will remove that effect. Even though it's might not be the most efficient way, it is a way around it. Another example in standard is Metagross GX. This Pokemon can't use Giga Hammer during your next turn, so this allows you, Pokemon Ranger allows you to use Giga Hammer 2 turns in a row when you otherwise could not because of the effect of the attack. Now, with all three of these Pokemon, the more efficient strategy would be to retreat and bring up another Metagross Lapras Volcanion. That's probably the more efficient way. Metagross just gets around this by manually retreating, and then using Geotech System to bring the energy back on. Whereas with Lapras, they will usually have two Lapras built up, and then have Manaphy down on the bench to switch in and out, and also have ways of moving that energy around. And as Volcanion, they usually will use Float Stones or Escape Ropes or Switch to get themselves in and out of the active. Another example where you'd want to use this is, in some weird case, you could use this on Soul Blaster off Magearna EX's attack. Soul Blaster reads: during your next turn, this Pokemon Soul Blaster attack's base damage is reduced by the base damage is 60. So if you use Pokemon Ranger on Magearna that used Soul Blaster on your previous turn, it would make it so that way Soul Blaster did a base damage of 120 instead of 60. Now, some effects of your opponent's attacks that you might want to remove is if you're playing a basic deck, is if your opponent uses Jolteon EX's Flash Ray. Flash Ray says during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic Pokemon. So by doing this, you could use Pokemon Ranger, remove that effect, and let yourself hit that Jolteon for damage instead of not being able to use damage. Similar thing goes with Glaceon EX, where Glaceon prevents damage from attacks from evolution Pokemon. So this would stop your opponent, let you damage your opponent's Glaceon, and still use to get around that. Now, another good thing you guys would want to remove would be Shadow Stitching. Greninja's Shadow Stitching attack locks at both players out of abilities until your opponent's next turn. So using Pokemon Ranger to remove that Shadow Stitching would be a way of getting around that Shadow Stitching. Now, getting to expanded of things that you would want to get rid of. Actually, there's one more standard thing we would want to look at, and this kind of ties into our one expanded card we want to talk about, is Noren GX Distort attack for dark and a colorless energy. Prevents you from playing items on your next turn if they use the Distort attack. This similar vein to that of Seismitoad EX from an expanded Quaking Punch. This 30 damage, but does the exact same thing. Prevents you from playing item cards. So using a Ranger in this way can get it around, so you can get items, get yourself set up so that way you can answer their Noren or their Seismitoad if you're playing an expanded. Some things though that Ranger does not work on, for example, is Espeon GX. Espeon's Side Beam attack it has an effect of it confuses your Pokemon. You cannot remove the special condition, but because the effect does not last. Basically, what that means is instead of it being confused until the end of your next turn, it's just confused, and confused at that point is now a special condition. So you would have to play something like Pokemon Center Lady or Big Malasada to get around that confusion. Pokemon Ranger would not work in this case. Oh, sorry guys, I am thirsty. Hang on, let me wet my throat. Now, the next thing this would also not work on is Alolan Muck GX's GX attack Tri-Hazard GX, where it switches you one of your bench Pokemon and then inflicts Burn, Paralyze, and Poison. You wouldn't be able to remove those effects because, again, they're a special condition now, not an effective attack, so you would not be able to remove that special condition. Same thing goes with the Alolan Ninetales Ice Path GX attack, moving the damage counters from Alolan Ninetales to your active Pokemon. It doesn't leave an effect on your Pokemon other than the damage, but so you cannot Ranger off that damage. So those are some things. Oh yeah, and then another thing you can't remove is like an effect that's already happened and has resolved. So I guess that would be the more accurate way of depicting those previous three that we just talked about. So if the effect the attack has resolved and does not have a lasting effect on your next turn, Ranger would not do anything for you. So for example, if you Sunsteel Strike where you discard all the energy from Solgaleo, Ranger would not work. So even though Espeon does leave a lasting effect, it's not like how should I explain this? It inflicts a special condition, so therefore Ranger does not work. Ranger does not remove special conditions. There we go. That's probably the best way I can word how that works. But the main thing you're probably going to want to clue this in for standard as of right now is possibly along the lines of Noivern and possibly even Glaceon, as well as Greninja. Those are things that your opponent would be playing that you would want to play a Ranger for to get rid of those things. But unfortunately, in standard, once we have rotation coming about, and us losing DS Seeker, I don't think Ranger would be a card that's worth the slot, because the only way you guys could get this Ranger out reliably is with Tapu Lele, and with as much hype as Greninja is getting, being possibly considered one of the best decks in the format, I'm not sure if Ranger now has a place in the format. In Expanded, though, it definitely has a place. Seismitoad EX is still very strong, so I mean, it's definitely worth considering in Expanded, guys. But this has been Tech Card Tuesday. Today we looked at Ranger. If you guys have any suggestions for cards for the series, let me know. Let me know down in the comment section down below. I do have some ideas for next week and the following weeks after that, but we will keep going. Let me know what cards you guys want to see featured in the series, though. That'd be greatly appreciated. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Till next time, peace out.